What if I told you that the key to business success was actually found in a 3,000-year-old story about a widow woman who was about to starve to death? That's what we're going to talk about today. The biblical secret to business success, because it's kind of a success for life as well. In 1 Kings chapter 17, God came to Elijah, the prophet Elijah. And he told him to go to the evil king Ahab and tell him that there's no rain coming for an extended period of time, which of course meant there was a famine coming. So Elijah did so, told the king, and after he told the king, then God told Elijah to go hide. There's a whole other story there I'll get into some other time. But God told him to go tell the king. He told the king, then God said, okay, now the king wants to kill you, go hide. But when he told Elijah to go hide, he had him go hide near a brook, a hidden brook up in a cave. And he said, go, you can drink out of that brook, and I'll have ravens actually come and feed you bread and meat. Okay, so Elijah obeyed, went to the brook, was at the brook for an extended period of time, but then the brook dried up. Again, there's no rain for a long time. So then the Lord told Elijah, I need you to go to see this widow, and she'll take care of you. Okay? In fact, let me just read the verses here. This is 1 Kings chapter 17, and starting in verse 7. So 1 Kings 17, starting in verse 7. It says, and it came to pass after a while that the brook dried up, because there had been no rain in the land. And the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, arise, get thee to Zarephath, which belongs to Zidon, and dwell there. Behold, I have commanded a widow woman there to sustain thee. So he arose and went to Zarephath. And when he came to the gate of the city, behold, the widow woman was there gathering sticks. And he called to her and said, fetch me, I pray thee, a little water in a vessel, that I may drink. And as she was going to fetch it, he called to her and said, bring me, I pray thee, a morsel of bread in thy hand. Okay, so far, he meets this widow woman and says, will you give me something to drink? She's like, sure, I'll give you something to drink. While she's doing that, he's like, hey, will you going to give me some food too? And this is her response. Verse number 12. It says, and she said, as the Lord thy God liveth, I have not a cake, but a handful of meal in a barrel, and a little oil in a cruse. And behold, I am gathering 2 sticks, that I may go in and dress it for me and my son, so that we may eat it and die. And Elijah said unto her, fear not, go and do as thou hast said, but make me thereof a little cake first. Bring it unto me, and afterwards make for thee and for thy son. For thus saith the Lord God of Israel, the barrel of meal shall not waste, neither shall the cruse of oil fail, until the day of the Lord sendeth rain upon the earth. Verse 15. And she went and did according to the saying of Elijah, and she and he and her house did eat many days. And the barrel of meal wasted not, neither did the cruse of oil fail, according to the word of the Lord, which he spake by Elijah. So what am I talking about here? What does this historical story have to do with business? Well, notice that the widow woman had to have faith in what the Lord said. And likewise, when you go into business, you have to have faith that you will make it. Because if you didn't have faith that you would make it, you wouldn't start it, right? Also, your clients have to have faith that you'll produce the work that you said you'll produce for them. Now, this lady, she had just enough meal in her barrel and just enough oil in her cruse to fix one last meal for her and her son because of this great famine. They're going to eat it, and then they're just going to starve to death. But Elijah told her, said, make me something first, and then go and make you and your son a meal. Now, this widow woman, she had faith, and she did make him a meal first, even though it could have easily meant that she wouldn't have had enough for herself or her son or both. Now, she didn't get paid for this. He didn't pay her anything. He said, give this to me. And she provided that service to him without getting compensated in any way. But she had faith it would work out. Now, not only did she not get paid for it, it actually cost her something to do so. I mean, it could have cost her life or her son's life or both of their lives. Right? So this was no minor thing here. But she believed the word of the Lord that came from Elijah, and she fed him first. She served him first without any kind of payment up front. And after she did serve him, her needs were met. Her and her son were both able to eat. And not just that one meal, but many, many meals after that until the rain came. So all throughout this hard time of the famine, her needs were met because she served Elijah first. The oil never dried and the meal was never wasted. The actual flour or whatever was in the barrel, it never wasted. Now, in my last video, I talked about getting paid to pitch. And now I'm talking about serving somebody without getting paid. And aren't those contradictory? Like, what's going on here? Well, they're actually not. Let me explain why. So see, I actually firmly believe that you should get paid to actually pitch what you want to offer. But here's the key. You still have to provide service first. You have to prove to people that you can help them by actually helping them. That's a quote from Frank Kern, popular internet marketer. But he says, you prove to people you can help them by actually helping them. And that's what you do up front. So in that last video, I was talking about having introductory calls. And in those, I'm actually providing a lot of value there. I used to have a membership site teaching developers how to use the HoloLens back 2016 to 2018. And I provided service up front by doing free webinars and by doing YouTube videos, much like this, providing content. And then if they wanted more, they could join my membership. So I provided this service first. And it's actually very similar to right now. So now I'm helping consultants and other professionals. I was a consultant and I'm creating these YouTube videos that my business coach, he actually calls his YouTube videos his community service. And that's what I'm doing as well. I'm considering my YouTube content actually community service. So I'm providing this value for free. And maybe at some point, by proving to somebody I can help them, they'll go buy my book. I'm working on it. It's not quite done yet. Or my coaching program, one of my coaching programs. Okay. So the whole point is we're joining my paid challenge. So I have a couple different offers here. I have a paid challenge. I have a book coming up and I have coaching programs. So that's my paid services, but I'm trying to serve people with this free content first. Okay. So this biblical principle is serve first and then get paid later. The point here is that the Lord will use us to serve others and then also use others to serve us. Because money, it's simply a transfer, like an acknowledgement and appreciation for value that you provided. So all the money that you have right now, I mean, unless you stole it, I'm assuming you didn't steal it. So all the money that you actually have right now is simply a sign of appreciation for the work that you've done, and somebody else valued that work and gave you money for that. So that's all money is. It's just a notes of gratitude, if you will, appreciation for the work that you provided. The key is just focusing on the value that you can provide to your clients and your prospects. And as a result, the money will flow. So just like the widow's oil that never ran out, when you pour yourself into serving others, your resources often multiply in miraculous ways. Zig Ziglar has said, if you want to achieve your goals, help other people achieve their goals, right? It's the same principle. Serve people and you actually get rewarded with these little notes of gratitude called dollar bills. And likewise in business, success comes from mutual service and trust. Now in the verses that follow, the widow's son actually dies. Now Elijah prays to the Lord and the Lord does raise the widow's son back to life. And that's when the widow actually says, like, I believe. At that point, here, it's kind of interesting that here she went this whole time. The Lord's taking care of her. She had enough faith to take care of the prophet. The Lord's been taking care of her for all these months, maybe years, while the famine is occurring. But it was actually only after her son's death and the Lord raising her son back from the dead that she truly believed on God. So the widow served Elijah, and then throughout the famine, the Lord provided for the widow. And then in her greatest moment of need, when her son died, Elijah was there to serve her through the Lord. And business is just another aspect of life, right? We're all here to serve each other. So I'll leave you with my life verse. It's Mark 10:45. And it says, Jesus came not to be ministered unto, but to minister and give his life as a ransom for many. So the key is service. The key is proving to people you can help them by actually helping them. And then as a result, you'll get compensated. Lord will take care of you. Chances are, if you like this video, you'll like this next video. So I'll see you in the next video.